Tell us a little bit about the model for Dr. Kim Live.
So really it kind of came organically, again, out of IIBD. It was born in that we got a lot of inquiries that wouldn't necessarily convert, whether it wasn't needed, or the resources weren't there, or based on the location of the person calling in. And it's not at all, it was never intended to be a replacement for formal professional services. So it's very general, it's not advice, you know, very general input, and then, you know, a recommendation to see if services would be needed to set up and schedule an intake appointment. And then really, I did the first 5 seasons of the one segment, Tell Me What to Do Tuesdays. And then we had other guest hosts coming on, and they would really just talk about whatever, whether they were promoting a new book or they had a workshop, training series, their own services. But the whole mission is to provide and to produce information, resources, entertainment opportunities.
Sure. So people that are calling in or that are making the connection, what are some of the things that you've experienced they're looking for?
Input, and sometimes they just want to know, is everything okay? This is what's
their
happening.
Life, their troubles, their frustrations, their experiences.
Exactly. Whether it's their child, whether it's they themselves are going through a situation, a relationship change, a career change, a life-altering event of some sort. And again, it's not in any way, when I say Dear Abby, ethically, because of some of my degrees and also licensures, and can't give specific, you know, so it's not a replacement, but it's more to kind of guide them in the direction of maybe you do want to take this a step further and schedule an intake appointment so a professional can make that determination. And sometimes it's like, well, that's just a natural part. Your 3-year-old's having a tantrum. 3-year-olds have tantrums at times.
Right.
That's developmentally appropriate.
It's common.
So sometimes they just need somebody to say, like, that's normal, that happens. If it happens at this level, maybe take a closer look.
So is your primary focus on children?
Like I said, I've worked at all ages and stages of development. My preference was always children, but when you look at children, you have to look at the environment surrounding those children and the effects of the behaviors of whether it's the parents, professionals. Children are responders. And not to say that there aren't different personality features or characteristics. You could have 2 children raised in the exact same home and turn out very differently.
Exactly right.
But for parents to understand, just because that worked for your daughter Susie, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the right parenting approach or most appropriate parenting approach or most effective for your son Johnny.
Right.
You have to make some changes. You can't necessarily expect a child to be more regulated than his or her environment. So that kind of came out of a lot of the focus on the pediatric behavioral health care and clinical counseling pediatrics at IIBD and education designers. Do we have to train the teachers or the staff working with the child to do things differently, which will ultimately change the child's behavior? Does the parent need training, counseling? Maybe there's no routine in basics of parenting. You know, there's no set bedtime. And maybe Susie was able to put herself on a set bedtime, or you just had to say it once, and from then on, she did that. But Johnny's going to be a little different. You know, he's going to need you're going to read him a couple books first, and you're going to maybe lay down with it, and then ease him. Every child is unique, and every child is different. So for parents to have that level of reflectivity that they need to change, you know, so they could be more regulated so their child could be more successful.
So what are some of the things that you're seeing? Because there's a lot of societal pressures out there, and there's social media and so many things, so much information coming at people today. What are some of the things that you're seeing in terms of that family dynamic with the children, with the parents, that people are struggling with today, especially what kids are struggling with today?
Well, I think it's what you just said. There's a lot of mixed messages based on media. Who do I listen to? Well, or, you know, extended family, maybe well-meaning, well-intentioned. Well, that's not what my, you know, mother-in-law said is right. So, and that's not how she did it. So, you know, you're competing with messages, generational differences. 2019 is the world we're living in. Maybe what worked in the 1950s, or maybe it didn't work so well when we really want to reflect honestly and accurately, is definitely not going to fit with, you know, the society that we're living in today in 2019. Also, you know, there's 9, when we talked in that last radio interview, 9 classifications now of behavioral health professionals. Do I take my child to a therapist? Do I need a psychologist? Do I need a psychiatrist? Do I need a behavioral health? Do I need a social worker? Do I need who am I supposed to talk to? And they all have a different approach, even though they're all part of the same.
It's overwhelming for people.
Yes, yes. So to answer your question, I don't think that it's black and white. I don't think that there is. I think that parents have to practice intelligent evaluation. They have to be discerning. They have to make decisions that are in the best interests of their children and family. And I think that it's up to us, though, as professionals to help guide them in that path, and to also help parents to be a little more humble, too, if they do need support and help, you know, not be in denial. Well, just because maybe your parents or your in-laws did it that way, it doesn't mean that that's what's right now for your child.